Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City. Big shout out to DJ City. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. I got my man, DJ Never here.
Hey, what's up?
I got my man, Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
And we got DJ D Miles here.
What's good, what's good?
And we got a special quarantine guest right now via Zoom. Co-founder of the infamous 143 party in LA. I guess approaching 7 years now. And she's a DJ, she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a piano player. She has a background in PR and advertising. Can you cook too? She could probably cook, right? Hey, yo, we got Sosupersam in the building. What's good, ma?
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
What's up?
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm stoked.
We got to
get resume is long, man.
Yeah.
You just cut that. I was like, Jesus.
That's definitely like some Asian parent shit to like, you know, right?
Yeah, very type A, overachieving ass, head
Right.
ass. That's my lifestyle. I was like, quarantine's been really funny because everything kind of slowed down to a halt, and I was reflecting on it, and I was like, I don't think I've been this like idle since I was 3, because my parents, I grew up in an Asian household, so like I had homework and activities and school since I was like 18 months old. So like I've been very busy, which I guess my really long-winded resume suggests. But it's been like that since I was pretty much born. So like this is a very strange time. Yeah, like
wow.
Actually doing a bunch of shit. Yeah.
She's like, what is this sitting down you speak of? You don't know how to sit down and stay still.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. So I've been sitting a lot more lately.
Is it good though? It's kind of good, right? To have this downtime a little bit.
Yeah, I think I needed it, to be honest, in a lot of ways. I mean, it's not good to not make money, so that's kind of weird. But it has been nice to just, like, I've just been reading a lot. I've really, like, it's put a whole reset button on even just DJing and, like, what my job is. And, you kind of, like, you're pulled out of the, like, hustly part of it. And then you just have the actual you have it in its pure form, which is just, like, digging for music and listening to a bunch of bands that you've never listened to because you didn't have time, or like listening to the third verse of songs that you know, like there's so many songs from like a big chunk of time that I only know the first verse and the first hook because like I don't have time. Like I just don't have time. You just like mass download a bunch of shit. You're like, okay, yeah, this is the new shit, da, 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 da. And then you play it. You rinse it, but you've only played the first verse and the first hook. And then you're like, I didn't even know there was a third verse. Oh, okay. So like, it's kind of like making me like revisit a lot.
It's that constant DJ mode.
Yeah, totally constant DJ mode. Like,
so now like everyone's consuming music like a civilian, not like a DJ anymore. Yeah. It's a very different process.
Think so.
Yeah.
I think so for sure. I've been like, so since Quor, what do you guys call it? Rona? I don't know what you
The Rona?
The Rona.
Quor. I call it Quor because it sounds like a little sassy.
It's a sassy virus.
Since Quor, I was silent for a long time, and then I jumped on Twitch 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I noticed that, yeah.
Are you guys on Twitch?
We're launching our Twitch on Monday, pretty much. But yeah, how's that transition been? Like,
it's been really fun.
Really?
And I don't know. Okay, let me just back up. If I don't know, you guys know what my resume is, whatever, like my career, etc. But if you don't know, like I've been DJing for 10 years, like professionally. So that's kind of a while. And I think that when I started, it was like mid Serato, early SoundCloud. So there was a lot of I think there was a lot of movement and different sort of sounds happening and different technologies happening at that time when I started. And, it was really fun, like that sense of discovery and then learning how to DJ open format. And then when SoundCloud came around, there was this really big excitement to dig and like find new producers and tour and things like that, and like put together mixtapes that were a little bit left field, etc. So like I haven't really felt that sense of like community and discovery until Twitch. So
really,
I would say like I was veering on the jaded end of the spectrum, you know, and then of course like coronavirus hit, and then it just like smacks you in the face, and you're like, fuck, like this sucks. And then when Twitch came around, or I started looking at Twitch more, I've felt this like new rebirth of like discovery and trying to figure things out, and like searching on how to DJ in this format. Now I'm digging like for new music that's not just for prime time at the club.
Right.
And you know, like it just opened up my mind. It like expanded my whole mind, and again, and I feel reborn in a sense.
Wow.
And then Twitch as a community, because it's sort of, you know, you guys are launching next week. I launched last week. Like it's kind of starting to like, people are kind of tapping in. And I think it's reinvigorated the DJ community a bit, because you go to like Four Color Zach's set, and it's all DJs, and they're just all talking.
Yeah.
And they're just, oh shit, like I remember that remix, and like people are just chatting more and like tapping into people that they don't get to see very often. So it's like Zach, and then other Zach, Z-Trip, freaking who else is on that Shortcut, and you can like raid different people's sets and like different rooms. So there's just like a lot of energy, not just with you and your fans, but with like the homies that you only get to see when you fly into their city and play their club night, you know. That kind of interaction has been really, really like fun for me, and it's something that I haven't really felt in a long time. So like I'm really excited about where this could go.
Yeah, because
it's like a frontier.
It's almost like a new it's almost like a new platform for DJs to showcase their favorite music, right?
Yeah.
Without having to worry about if the crowd is still with me or not.
Right.
Yeah. And so for you, it's like a way for you to express yourself and to play all this new music and old music, nostalgic, whatever, and just kind of just like let it go and let your following kind of absorb it. And see
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a really crazy like reset button, because you can, you know, like I think when I started it a couple weeks ago, my first couple sets, I was like, listen, I know like I do 143, and I love it, and it's my baby, and it's a certain sound direction, but if you're gonna come here to my channel, like let go of any expectations, because I'm just gonna do me every time. Like I'm gonna play whatever I want. So if I just want to play like Pink Floyd for an hour, like I will. And if I want to like go super Indian and whatever, like I'm going to do that as well. And if I just want to play drum and bass for 3 hours, I'm also going to do that. So like, if you come here with like, oh, why aren't you playing SZA? Like, just get out now, because I'm not trying to do that right now. Like, that's not what I'm doing here. I actually don't know what I'm doing. So I want to figure it out on my own. You guys are welcome to come and hang out with me, but like,
Do you think that Twitch is a sustainable platform once COVID is over?
I don't know. And I think that's what's low key exciting, and also has a little bit of anxiety attached to it. Cause I think that, you know, we're all coming from what we have known for a long time, which is like, I know how much I make if I work a certain amount of gigs. And I know like, you have that routine in your head and what that flow is. Income wise, flow wise, like travel wise, etc. So I think there, you know, I am gassing Twitch a lot right now, but there is a bit of anxiety there too. Like, we don't know how long this is gonna last, if this is gonna be sustainable, how to even monetize really, in a consistent way. It's just really open ended. So I think it's two-sided, you know, like it's exciting, but it's also anxieting. Anxieting? Anxieting.
You're just making up words today, huh?
Yeah, just making up. You can have that. Road pod. I made up a new word today.
Did you feel like this wall or this obstacle in the beginning where you just felt this ridiculousness that you were alone and you were like just performing in front of a camera, or did you instantly just kind of gravitate to the whole process?
I think the process for me was really more of a personal thing at first. I'm not a stranger to the camera. I do have like some experience like hosting, and I'm kind of a avid IG story user. So, and I also do a radio show on NTS. So I have some, experience DJing in a very sterile room with no one there and making energy. But I think what was really hard for me was just really wanting to even put myself out there for a while. Like I know when it all hit, like I was so withdrawn, and I was like, I don't want to go on Instagram. I don't definitely need to process a lot of the L's I just took from tours that are canceled and projects I was working on that are they just evaporated into nowhere.
Right. That's gotta hurt, right? That's gotta really that's devastating. Because you guys had I think you guys had like a 7-year anniversary party planned. You had a tour planned, and I know your partner in crime. You were doing a lot of parties last year with Noodles, Kaylani's DJ, and I'm sure you guys probably had more parties planned and events planned this year. Yeah, so I feel like everything just kind of got fucked up and everything got postponed, right?
Yeah, it did. And it's interesting because I think work from home hit LA like March 20th, but by that point, I had been dealing with cancellations since early February. Like I knew it was I knew it was happening because the first thing to go is festivals, large public events, tours, and entertainment. So everyone's like, oh my God, I have to work from home. I'm like, bro, I've been taking L's for like a month now. It's been happening to me.
Every time you get an email notification, you're like, fuck.
Damn,
It's so hard. It was really hard. So I think that I had to, really just mourn the loss of energy and passion and all this stuff that, we were cooking up a 143 7-year anniversary tour. Like we're supposed to be on tour right now. Last year we did 12 cities.
You did 12 cities last year?
Yeah, across North America within the span of a month.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm very hands-on with what I do too. So it's like, I'm routing it and I'm booking talent and I'm doing the creative direction for all the flyers and the promo.
The PR and advertising, all the marketing and stuff.
So that was something that I was really gearing up for and putting a lot of, my, blood, sweat, tears into. And then, we had Mario booked to sing. So that was in the bag. What else do we have? I was training for a half marathon, and 143 was going to do the sound for the half marathon in LA as homegrown sound for a homegrown marathon, working with the biggest athletic brand, maybe biggest brand in the entire world. So I was super stoked, and we were doing all this, under wraps type branding collabs with Nike, and So there was that, and and then festivals fucking all the work that goes into making a Coachella weekend viable and fun, and working with those brands and those parties. So that, and then Something in the Water, I was so excited for that. That's Pharrell's festival.
Yeah, Virginia.
Yeah. So I was just super ready to have the best year ever.
We were all there.
Yeah, and we were all there, it's wild. I think even as people are states are starting to open up, I'm I'm not opening up. We're not opening up. And that, maybe there is some silver lining in that. At least we know now, shit's not going to happen for us for a while. Maybe next year. Maybe.
Yeah.
Next year.
If so.
So at least I guess that's kind of how my processing has evolved. It went from like, holy shit, like to fuck, I don't even have anything left to give because I gave everything to all these projects that don't exist anymore, to like, okay, well, at least we kind of have a grasp on what this timeline could be, and that we're not just like, oh, okay, now are we ready to go now? Like July, September, October, like that was the talk. And now it's just like, I think it's very set into my spirit. Like, okay, middle of next year, earliest. All right, bitch, what are you going to do? Like, let's go. Like, what can we do? So I think that's kind of where that was my process to kind of muster up the energy again and the balls to like see what Twitch is about. Like, I don't play video games. Do you guys play video games?
Yeah. Not really, no.
I'm like,
I'm like, what? What? Like, what is this? Like, what is going on Twitch? It's so crazy. And it's been like just such a whirlwind. And now that, you know, kind of have a little bit of like oomph back in my system, I'm like, okay, like, let's learn. And it actually has been really, you know, a positive experience so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that like that kind of brings us up to date. You know, like I think things are starting to pick up in a really weird, unexpected format. Like, but I think it's somewhat healing in the process. I don't know.
It's weird. I've been speaking to different DJs, and some DJs have a lot of anxiety because they feel like their brand is gonna die in the next year. You know, like if clubs are gonna open up next year, their concern is, am I gonna be relevant next year?
Yeah.
And then I also talked to like some of my homies, like, you know, like Sean G from Shaba, DJ Moma from Everyday People. You know, those are DJs who have their own parties. And I've asked them, like, do you have anxiety that your parties aren't going to be relevant and you have to like, you know, release or put out some type of like virtual digital live stream alternative for your following during this time? And I think both of them were like, nah, I think we're good. Like, I'm not worried about it. And I'm kind of wondering if you felt that way about your party 143, if you felt like, oh my God, we got to put something out there digitally. If you're like, no, I think we're good. I think we can wait this out. And then when we do reopen, if it's next year or whenever, I think it's going to be a fucking smash.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a conversation that I had with like my business partner early days. You know, I was just like still in bed, like living a very horizontal life. Those first 2 weeks, like hiding. And then he's like, well, should we jump on Twitch? Like, should we need to stream? Like, should we do stuff like every week? Like, we need to
content, we need content, right?
We gotta get it going.
Keep that name out there.
I was like, and he's just, like, are we gonna be relevant? What if people forget about us? And I'm just like, my answer was, and still is like, listen, like, no one can go out. Like, no one can go out. So what makes you think that once people can go out, they're just gonna all of a sudden forget what they used to do? Like, it's just, it's a very silly way to approach. I think it's very illogical. I know where the fear comes from, but like, it's actually not rational to assume like it's just like saying like, okay, if you can't see your parents right now, when you get to go outside, will you forget that you have parents? Like, no. Like, will you like assume new friends because you didn't see your friends for 8 weeks or maybe 8 months? Like, you still will like love the things you love, hopefully. I would assume that about people. And so I think that does apply to our party. I don't think these kids are gonna be like, what? Like, where who am I? Like, what's the Echoplex? Like, what is R&B? Like, they're not gonna forget, dude. Like, I think it'll be fine. And so, you know, that said, I was just like telling my business partner, like, let's take the pressure off, and whatever we do decide to do, let it be from how we organically feel. If we don't feel like doing this for 4 months, let's not do it. If we feel like over time, like, hey, let's do an anniversary party. Cool. On Twitch. Like, then let's go that route. But I don't ever want it to be fueled from this like fear of not being relevant. Because then you start to lose the purity of it, or like the heart, you know?
Yeah.
Sean, so Sean and like Drew, I think are doing a really good job with Shaba. You know, I think that the way they're approaching everything is something I agree with. They're doing like
they're doing like some like Apple Beats radio show right now, right? Like a weekly show, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, they just had Silent Addy do a guest set last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I don't think they need to do anything more than what they're doing if they want to be cool. But like, you know, I love Shaba, I love Drew, love Sean. I'm not gonna stop loving them and their party just because of Corona. You know, like, and so so with us, like we threw our party in March and on Instagram Live. And it was cool. I mean, it was the best we could do at the time, and we were really surprised at the reception. Like, people really wanted to tune in. People really wanted the energy. People were fucking down.
I'm curious, how many viewers did you guys have in your IG?
I think because Instagram doesn't record statistics, but I know that at one point we had about over 1,000 people in the room.
That's good.
So it would kind of fluctuate throughout the day. We did 7 hours of programming, I believe. And so probably over the course of the day, like close to 2,000, 2,500 people or something like that. So it was really awesome. And we were like, oh, like, should we do this again? You were like, yes. And, you know, so we kind of hit that fork in the road too. After that point, like, should we do this weekly since we're at home? And I was like, no. You know, I think we need to apply the same principles that we've had before coronavirus, which was we could have done 143 every week for 7 years too, but we didn't want to. Like, we wanted to keep it special. We wanted to keep wanting to go. Right. And I was like, do you want to burn us out now? Like, we should do that. Keep it once a month, keep it special, really work on it and be personally excited for it. Because I know if I'm still excited about it, that kind of like feeds other people energy and excitement. So from that, we kind of were like, okay, like, what's actually Twitch? And like, how can we learn? And is that the next move? And so we moved our party for our 7-year anniversary to Twitch, and we did 16 hours.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
DJing.
16 hours.
16 hours of straight up DJing. I'm gonna tell you things that were cool about it.
What?
We are a worldwide, like, we've been able to tour this party worldwide over the years. And so it was so awesome to book people and homies from all over the world to come to this one online room and like all hang out with each other and not have to leave and go to the airport 16 times. Feel me? So like that part was really cool because it was that much easier to have a worldwide effect without moving per se.
What other countries have you guys been to that 143 has gone to?
Well, we've done all over the U.S. And then Canada, and then so Toronto, Vancouver, where else? Montreal, and then in Asia we've done Jakarta. Jakarta we were doing 3 times a year for about 2 years.
Really? Whoa. Indonesia? Really?
Yeah, in Indonesia.
Wow.
So I would fly out there.
I didn't know there was a club market there, an R&B market out there.
It is by far one of the most R&B driven party communities I've ever experienced. Yeah, it is. They're so vibey. So
in Indonesia.
No
one talks about Indonesia
at all.
Because it is so far. Like it takes about 2 days to get there.
What?
They have, so like if you even make it there, like then you know they have such a huge R&B market because the way that their clubbing, their nightlife functions is you start with dinner And then let's say like we all get a table for dinner, right? At like 8:00. You pull up with your friends, you have a full meal, you can smoke inside. So everyone's smoking, drinking, eating, and then it sort of bleeds right into DJing. And then so you're like, you start at 8.
It's a build-up, yeah.
And it's a build-up, and it goes till 4.
Wow.
So for the most part, people are eating, sitting, drinking, smoking, but it keeps going.
She just did a whole choreography.
Yo, she did a whole,
That's that.
she did an 8 count.
The dancing.
Yeah.
Opening set is always like a cover band. So they have a huge like cover band scene there. And hella people play their own instruments and do covers of like Georgia Smith songs and like Al Green, and so it kind of is almost like a wedding reception style.
I was gonna say it sounds like a cruise ship. Everyone's just like on one boat for like 12 hours.
Yeah, and that whole style of music is usually like R&B driven. So they like love Bruno Mars and they love D'Angelo and Maxwell and. Yeah, so that's kind of the flow of that scene there. And I think that 143 really fits into that market really well. They also have like a very vibrant streetwear and sneaker community too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So all of that combined, like we would make collab merch out there every time. And people would just show up and they would love to wear like graphic tees of, repping 143 or whatever. It just like all ties in really nicely. So we up until, we had like a really good relationship where I would go out there all the time. Where else? We also did Manila a few times. And then in Europe, we've done Berlin, Amsterdam, Brussels.
I feel like London would be perfect for you guys. London is so R&B, right?
London and Paris. Yeah. But we haven't done those cities yet.
You haven't done London yet? London and Paris yet? No? Wow, it'd be perfect. Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, London is like everywhere I go in London, they're playing like throwback R&B from the 90s. It's
That's what I heard about London. Yeah,
it's just everywhere. It's like
isn't that just so nice?
Hey, so I kind of want to go back. I want to go back because I want to talk about, and I'm sure you may be sick and tired of talking about it, but I want to talk about 143. I want to talk about this party because it's up there in LA party royalty with, I would say, the do-over, right? I'll put it up there with the do-over and Shaba slowly coming in to be this trifecta of dope parties from LA, right?
Dog. Yeah. Yep. It's a Silver Lake staple now.
Right. You guys are kind of royalty out there in LA right now with this party.
Yep.
And 143, I don't know, for some of you guys out there who don't know what 143 is, it's a throwback R&B party, but I mean, you guys are playing all types of new R&B and everything, right? And there's turn up in there. I've seen some YouTube videos of you even doing like a house set. You'll do like some Daft Punk, you'll do like some Sandstorm or whatever, and it's whatever the fuck you kind of want to do. And 143, I guess, means I love you, right?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, Kirk. No, it doesn't.
And it was you guys founded it in 2000. You guys founded it in 2013 with Party Time and Sick, right?
Yeah, correct.
And it's funny because when this party was emerging, the first thing I saw were these dope throwback tees that were very reminiscent to like the old throwback tees in New York. And remember, like in Harlem, we'd see the bootleg tees, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
With like Nas or Biggie or like Little Kim.
You know what? I think I have. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Get the tee. I want to see.
Go bring the merch.
But anyway, that was probably the first thing I saw, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is dope! Like I haven't seen that shit." And you guys, and I was like, I didn't even know what this was, and I was like, I want to cop that tee. But yeah, but later I found out, I talked to people and they're like, "Yo, it's like this throwback."
Oh my God, you really have it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, let me see that tee. That tee is dope, man.
That tee is dope. It's high production for sure.
What was that? Ja Rule?
Yeah.
Ja Rule.
That shit is dope.
John B.
You got John B. Yeah.
Cisco.
Who designed that?
This is dope.
At the time, so the reason why all those people are on the shirt is because they had performed at 143.
Wow.
Oh, really?
What a lineup.
You had Ja Rule there?
Yeah, we did
Shit.
Ja Rule and Ashanti, their first show together in like 10 years.
Oh,
They
man.
did
Oh.
it in San Francisco on Valentine's Day.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
2016.
by the time that was our 3-year anniversary.
3-year anniversary, yeah.
I wanted to highlight everyone who had performed at 143 by that point. So Freaky P designed it. He's out of Vancouver, and at the time he was making a lot of really dope like knockoff concert tees with like Drake crying, and like I think there were some like Soulja Boy ones. He kind of like took that like sort of pen and pixels style as well.
Like Master P used to use back in the days.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. For all the No Limit cover art. So like kind of combining that with like bootlegging t-shirts, and that's what we did for that year.
It's funny how like we both saw the t-shirts first. We were like, yo, those t-shirts are fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
That's your PR and advertising background, just like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's really that really paid off over there.
Yeah, definitely.
When I started hearing about the party, and it was so weird because you guys emerged during like the EDM era, kind of, where LA was just like LA was infested with this like EDM sound, right? And so
that's why 143 was this accident.
Right.
Like it was sort of, I was kind of throwing shade because, yes, as you described, like it was 2013. It was, you know, anything in nightlife at that time was like all EDM trap and like just big drops and like, you know, Uzi and who else? Uzi, the producer, and R.O.A.D Grime and all that, like trap.
Alvin Harris and all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, I got this residency at Lock and Key when it first opened, and God, you know, love Cyrus and everyone at Lock and Key. But, you know, when they first opened, they were like, oh, we want it to be a speakeasy. It's, you know, we serve $18 cocktails with like egg cream and like orange bitters and like whatever, rose petals. And then they're like, you know, we want to keep the music very like classy and jazzy but do you, but also can you like not play hip hop or bass or anything with like cuss words or anything that is house? And I was just like, oh my God, why did you hire me? Because that's like all I play. So, you know, when you're up against the wall like that, you're just like, all right, like I need the cash. Like we want to keep our job because we need it. But also like, what can I do that serves me while also serving their needs, right? Wow. So this criteria.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy that
I was like, I need the three, you know, whatever it was, $200, $300. I was like, okay, I need it. Like, I don't want to let it go, but I need to do something that like works for what they want. But like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I know. Like, we're going to play slow jams because it fits all the things, but it is the most anti-turn up genre that no one ever plays. It will be the worst party ever, but I'm playing by the rules and we're gonna get free drinks. And like I have these two friends that we always just like talk about the dream, and like Jodeci and Boo 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 and Aaliyah and Brandy. Why don't we just like try to play slow jams really loud and get free drinks? And then I can keep my residency. So that's kind of like where it came from. It really came from like being put into a box. And like, how do you be creative about it?
Right. That's actually that's really great because it's one of the few stories that I've heard where musical restrictions, right, actually gave birth to this new idea, this new concept.
So I just thought it was gonna be the dumbest shit ever. Like I was like, whatever. Like, well, they can't really tell me anything because I'm playing by all the rules. But like, no one's gonna come. It's gonna suck. Like, but whatever. We'll be happy. And came up with 143. We had like a list of, you know, possible names. And I think some of them were like Martin references. Like some were just like, just really like.
Damn, like, Gina.
Chez Maurice was like the restaurant in Martin.
Yeah.
Call it Chez Maurice. Like, I don't know.
That's
and
awesome.
then I was like, 143, it kind of rolls off the tongue. It's a little like, if you know, you know.
Easy branding.
Right. And so like, okay, let's call it that and just see what happens. And then, it really took off. Like, we had zero expectation. No, there was no formula. Like, we were just like playing the shit. People came, and it just kind of caught fire because what was happening, we were realizing it with the people at the party that, like, oh my God, this is this like whole genre of music that pretty much everyone listens to by themselves in their rooms, in, you know, earphones or AirPods. Like, it's a very personal genre. But all of a sudden you're hearing this weekend song like super loud with your friends, and you're all looking at each other drunk, singing the same words that you guys have probably never actually sung in front of each other. So everyone just kind of busts up laughing because they're just like, oh shit, like this is the shit I do on my own, and now I'm like with my friends, and like we actually know all these songs. Like usually we're in the club doing, you know, dumb shit and like yelling rap music, but now we're like yelling R&B lyrics. And so I think that's what people were like, oh, like they left the first one and they're like, oh my God, like you got to go to this thing. Like they play Brandy really loud, like at peak prime time. They're playing like Aaliyah and Toni Braxton. And then people are like singing these songs that they only sing at karaoke with their parents or some shit. And so I think that's kind of how it, you know, and we realized, oh my God, this is this thing that like we didn't know people needed.
Yeah, that's exactly how I found out about it, because I was going to college at the time at LACC, and then somebody's like, yo, let's go to this party, and then I was like, I gotta study, whatever. And then next month I'm like, yo, let's go to this party. This girl named Sosupersam, she's playing 112 Peaches and Creams at like midnight. I was like, yo, what the fuck? So we ended up going to Los Globos, and it was a fucking fun time.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think it was just like anti formulaic energy that like no one had at the time and didn't have a place for it. It just didn't have a place.
Yeah, because Playhouse at the time was all hip hop. Supper Club was all hip hop. And then you had your other venues in Hollywood that were just EDM driven, like the Avalon or whatever. Yeah. And then there was this one spot that were just playing the cool shit, and which was your party.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, it really came out of just an accident, but we just kind of have been going with it. Yeah, for 7 years.
So did it just take off like really quickly, pretty much?
Yeah. I say, you know, we had some sound issues at Lock and Key, just because, you know, they were like, well, we need to keep the bass low. I mean, it's really actually ironic thinking about what Lock and Key does now.
Yeah.
Because it is so, like, I love going to Lock and Key for like the most ratchet shit. But like to know that at the time we actually couldn't be at Lock and Key because they wanted to keep the bass low and like all the stuff. And so we moved it to Footsie's in Cypress Park. So it was a rock and roll dive bar. And it's like 100-person capacity. And just from jump, like we had just people were just having such a visceral reaction to this like very weird, strange party. Mm-hmm. So we always kind of had like a good, you know, turnout, and we outgrew that 100-person venue, moved to Los Globos upstairs, I believe. Mm-hmm. So just gradually we did like upstairs, and that's a like 250, 300-person room. And over time we moved it downstairs, and then that's a 500-person room. And then we had both floors, and then that's 1,500 cap, I think, before the fire marshal started to come around.
Yeah.
Los Globos I love it. I just liked how raw and like kind of how like illicit they just push the limits of like what we can get away with there. And that just leads to like great parties. You know what I mean? But then the fire marshal started coming around, and in fact, like they would just like kind of throw the alarms on, and they put an end to that 1,500 cap, because I think Los Globos is actually 800.
Wow.
Supposed to be 800 or 900.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, we just had this like nightmare stairwell. There's this fucking attack of a stairwell that connects upstairs and downstairs, and I would just worry about everyone so much because these girls were just like falling down the stairs, and like I was like, I
Steep staircase.
It was a fucking circus. It was like water dripping off the ceiling, just everyone packed. And it finally hit a head on Halloween. I remember I was dressed as a taco, and we had this everything was rammed, but we wanted to keep it house parties. So we, instead of setting up turntables in the DJ booth, we wanted it in the middle of the floor. Right.
Man.
Mm-hmm. so keep it raw, keep it cool, like whatever. It's a house party. But then, they let 1,200 people in, and they're like, Sam, if you move the turntables up to the actual DJ booth, we can let in like 50 more people. And I was like, okay, yeah. So it's like 11:30. So like I'm cut to me dressed as a taco, carrying a turntable over my head and like walking through like bodies of people up to the DJ booth and like setting everything up for when like the next DJ would come on, and then the fire marshals like coming in, the alarms are going off, there's firefighters, but it's Halloween, so people are like,
they couldn't tell the difference if they was in costume.
I don't get it. Like, what is happening? There's just like so much. And then we moved. So after all that, we moved to the Echoplex, and we've been there for about like 3-4 years now. Wow. And that's we do both floors. We do about 2,000 people a month. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So that's kind of been our like trajectory, and I think people have just grown with us. Like not only our fans and followers, but DJ homies. I think a big thing, and I feel like you guys can all feel this, is just like when you throw a party, that means you get to book your friends, and like fly people in and like hang out with your homies. And I think that 143 has always been about like building the DJ family and like making it a safe place and a free place for people to like, like A-Track will come in and he's just like, I never get to play R&B. Like, can I play R&B? I'm like, yes, like, like do you? And like, it's like a safe space for people also, DJ homies to come in and just do whatever they feel, get silly. And it's a place for people to not feel like they have to be cool. They can just like act a fool. And yeah, I think that's sort of the vibe. That's been the vibe like for as long as we've been doing it.
Is it still the last Wednesday of the month, right?
It's last Thursday. So
Thursday.
When we moved to Echoplex, we had to change it to last Thursday because Dub Club does Wednesdays.
Got it.
Oh, initially we were every last Wednesday.
Yeah, that's when I went. Yeah.
So it's been a wild ride, for sure.
Like looking back around that time in the early 2010s, there was like, I guess we would call them good music parties, right? Yeah. So like everywhere, whenever I would go to a city, I'd always try to like hit up a good music party. And obviously there was the Do-Over. There was you guys. I had Momo, one of my boys in New York. He had the Good Spot. And I think Dizza and R.O.A.D, they had Peach Fuzz in Miami. Right. And it was, I think that was early 2012 or 11 or something. And I remember going to check out those parties and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And it was just like so different from what was going on in the clubs and what I was forced to DJ, Looking back in LA during that time, I don't remember any hip hop, R&B, reggae clubs or parties at the time at all. There was like almost no presence of it in LA. I'm from New York and Vegas, so there might be some little bars or like, when we would go to Hollywood or any of the big clubs or any clubs around there, it seemed like there was no hip hop presence or R&B presence. I was wondering if there was like some kind of like systemic racism in the 2000s in LA because they would automatically associate hip hop to like gang violence and shit. Like it just wasn't the platform for it. But then going into the 2010s, there were these amazing parties that were emerging. Do you know what I'm saying? And I kind of wanted to ask, like, what do you think kind of changed in the 2010s that opened the doors to all this music that I feel wasn't available in LA at that time, and then it just kind of exploded in the 2010s. Does that make sense? It was.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I do have personally a different experience because I think like I'm from LA. definitely did a lot of bottle service situations, like when I turned 21. You know, you're trying to figure out what's going on and who you are or whatever. But then I think as I was learning how to DJ in the mid-aughts or whatever, like 2007, 8, there were amazing parties happening in it. The Firecracker, the Derby, Soul Sessions, those were like all like really good hip-hop driven parties, Chinatown. Those were people who taught me how to DJ. You had Banana Split, and you had what else? Cinespace. They were doing a lot of like amazing, just like house and like dance music, and kind of mixing it all up. And then and of course DJ Am was just like paving the way for all of us. And then I think the Do-Over was big for me. The Root Down was big for me. Low End Theory was an insane place to like listen to like underground things. But to like speak on your point, a lot of those things were very segregated. I don't know racially, I can't really speak on that, but like I know musically, you had your backpack hip hop here, bottle service rap here, you had, you know, like dance music there, and like everything was just like in its own space. What happened, I think, to bridge everything together was streaming. I think streaming changed everything because you didn't have to just buy one CD anymore. You could, you know, listen to Dilla, and that would take you to Nujabes, and then that would take you to some other shit, and then you could just get lost in YouTube. You get lost in like Spotify, and all of a sudden you can just download massive amounts of tracks, instead of getting fucking doubles to Khalees Milkshake or whatever. I have like weird doubles, like, why do I have this? Like, oh, we just had to have it, like at the time, you know, but now you could just have that. You can have everything and then mix it all together.
Interesting, yeah.
In Serato. And I think that really changed the audience's ear. I think it changed my ear. Just by sheer access to like music. And yeah, with limited funds, like now you can listen to everything and never buy anything. That's fucking crazy. Before it was like, you know, as a DJ, it's like, I gotta save like $6 to get this weird DMX remix that people seem to like. Like, I don't even like it, but I have to buy it. And like, now you can just like have all the music all the time. And I feel like that did start to change the way parties were thrown, and visibility of different genres. And like, I think it expanded everyone's mind a little bit. That's what I think.
When you look at your party, and out like over the years, I've talked to people about 143. I was like, oh, I want to go check it. And it's funny because a lot of people have described it in many different ways.
Yeah, sure. I've heard it.
So like a lot of people I know, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's like an Asian R&B party. It's all Asians in there. And then some people would say like, oh yeah, it's like a bunch of Asian girls and a bunch of guys with Asian fever from every race that you could think of. And then another description was like, oh yeah, it's basically a party where all the girls want to be like Sam and all the guys want to date Sam. Like, that's what the room is.
I've heard that one before, for sure.
I've heard that one before.
So are any of this shit true? Because I haven't been to that. I want to, you know, it sucks that we're in core right now, like you said. But I've always wanted to go, and I guess I've just been busy, and I've been working here in Vegas, and I've just been stuck in, you know, this whole world. But I've always wanted to go there. But would you say some of those are inaccurate, accurate, right on the money, totally far off? What?
Every description I've heard of the party, including the ones that you said, minus the one about, I've never heard that one about wanting to be me and then wanting to be I can't speak on that, but everything else you described is like very accurate. I would say it is a very Asian party. It is a very Filipino party. I think it's a lot more diverse than people. I don't know. It's like 80% like Filipinos and their cousins, because Filipinos will very deep.
I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. Either. I don't think at all.
I think I think there was a time where I did feel a little bit stigmatized by it. But then I was like, wait, like I don't have a problem being Filipino. I think it's fucking cool. So like we're just gonna own it and like be proud of it. And if you want to come to a Filipino party, be my guest. Like come through. Because this is how we do it. Like,
but don't you think that's some LA shit too? Like they look down on like any type of minority or a person of color. Like if that like, oh my God, that's like, that's like an Asian party. Oh, those are all beaners. That's a beaner party. Or like, yo, that's like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've heard that.
What's a beaner? I never heard that term before.
Like
this is a beaner.
Mexican.
This is a beaner.
Derogatory Mexican.
I've heard like a lot of even like
you never heard that before.
I never heard that term before now.
Oh my God.
Even at the time when I signed, like I'm on Scam Artist Management. When I signed to Scam Artist Management, everyone said like, oh, that's just a bunch of like they don't manage anyone like dope. It's just a bunch of beaners from on the radio and radio DJs on there. And
this was Vice
like
Echo.
Yeah. This was only in LA would I have this kind of talk like this. You know what I'm saying?
I think there are things out there. There are labels and identifiers. Sure.
Yeah.
I want to let it affect me? Probably not. Mm-hmm. Do I want to denounce my own people? Absolutely not. So listen, if my people support me and they help me keep my lights on, I love them. So keep it coming. And I'm proud of being Asian. I'm proud of being Filipino American. I think it is not only benefited me, professionally, but it benefits me spiritually. And I think if I can apply the way I grew up and the shit I like and the music that I like, and it attracts my same people, then that's what it is. Like, I'm not gonna be sad about it. Like, yeah, it's a fucking Filipino party. What's wrong with that? Like, nothing's wrong with that. Like, I don't see any guys being like, oh, I don't like these girls. They're so hot and underdressed, and
they all smell like garlic. They all smell like garlic.
No. Easy.
They have cousins, and they all brought food with them. Like, what's wrong? What's actually wrong with any of that? So, like, I do think, like, yeah, I hear it, but I don't really. I'd love to just own it, because the second I stop owning it is the second it's not cool anymore.
I've never been around like Asians before. Yeah, I've never like grew up with Asians. I've never been around Asians. So when people were like, "That's an Asian party," I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like I can actually be around Asian people. Like never around Asian people. So it was like one of those things that made me want to go.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's a really great. I think it'd make a great Vice. Op-ed, or like it's a really interesting subcultural thing that's happening, and I'm proud of it. And I think that over time, people do get over that stuff. The more normal you make it, then the more normal it becomes. And that's just how it is. Like, I don't know. I grew up in I grew up in LA. So like, to me, I don't know. I don't really see color. Like, I just know, like, I'm Filipino and I like what I like, and like, if you want to come hang out with me, that's cool. And the way I throw my party is the way Filipino family parties function, which is we're going to make you feel at home. We're going to welcome you in. We're going to play a lot of music. We're going to be dancing. We're going to be singing. There's going to be food. There's always food at my party.
Really? You guys have food there?
Like, because my thing is, like, I get hungry. Here's something about me. I get hungry. And when you throw a party for 4 hours, and I get hungry. And when I DJ, I get hungry too. So, like, I always have snacks.
Where's this being served? You guys are throwing it in the crowd?
Yeah, we throw it. So, like...
what kind of food is being served at the party?
It started with, like, I don't know. In my DJ bag, I always have some sort of, like, high chews or Starburst or, like, little candy. When you're playing, like I learned this when I used to DJ in New York. Like, I would play at 10 o'clock and finish at 4. So I always have food in my bag. Like, yeah. And, like, so when I throw 143 or I'm DJing, I'll be eating an apple while I'm DJing. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's okay. It's okay with me. So then, yeah, I would share. I'd be like, hey, I have like Starburst. Does anyone want one? I'm like, okay. And then kind of grew from there. We'd have like, I'd order a pizza to the club because I'm hungry. And I'd be like, oh, I'm only going to eat one slice. Do you guys want some? Like, sure. So we start handing that out. And that's just sort of like the culture that was created for our parties. Like people just know like, we're going to feed them. Like we'll feed them. If we have food, I'm going to share it. That's what a Filipino does. Like
I thought you had like a lumpia stand or something.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought you had like a stand. You were just like handing out lumpias and stuff like that.
We've handed out lumpia. We've done like lumpia sauce, like shot contest. We've handed out turon, like which is like a Filipino dessert. I've handed out bowls of arroz caldo, like that my friend's mom made. Like
wow.
I've flung Jollibee chicken
to the crowd.
Flung it into the crowd. Like I just think like that's how parties should be. You should be fed. You should be coming in and being nourished. Like
yeah, and then, cool. And then after the club, when she had at Los Globos, she had the taco stand outside.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
We've always had like it's just been part of our whatever. Like we just do what we
aesthetic.
want.
It's funny because maybe the experience that I've had in LA is that everyone always tells me there's Hollywood and then there's LA. And maybe my experience has always been like in the Hollywood sector.
Yeah.
And then I started learning more about LA maybe in the past 3 to 4 years. A little, or maybe like 4 to 5 years. But yeah, in the beginning, it was all about Hollywood, all the clubs in Hollywood. And
listen, I think LA in general it's really annoying because everyone's so fucking Hollywood. Everyone's so uptight. Like everyone's very self-conscious about how they look and their image and like, do I look cool and am I wearing the right shoes and did I pull up to valet in the right car? And like, I know that is the generalization of how anything works in LA. And so it is sort of an active effort on my part and the parties that I've been so inspired by in the past to like destigmatize that attitude. And I think that we've been really successful with 143 in that way.
For sure.
You know, to speak on like the do-over, I learned so much from Jamie and Chris. I got to watch DJs. Like that was so cool. Like you could watch like surprise. First of all, they don't announce the lineup, which I think is so unheard of. That's so groundbreaking. So everything's a surprise. And then you get to stand up close to like, you know, A-Track was my hero when I was learning how to DJ. I got to stand so close to him. And then you had to wait in line. And then the line itself was a culture. And then you get in and there's food. And you can eat with your friends. It's during the day. Like everything was so counterintuitive to, you know, standard nightlife, especially in LA. And then the other thing too is like the sangria was such a culture. Like you knew you were gonna get messy. Like it wasn't about looking right. It was all like a vibe. And like everyone was shoulder to shoulder with anybody. Like it could have been a famous person. It could have been, you know, like regular like whatever. Like everyone, all the cultures mixed together. And like I was very, very, very inspired by that party when, you know, thinking about 143 and like what we could do. Like a lot of our DNA comes from my very drunken, blacked out years at the do-over and all the good things that I felt. Like I wanted to carry that into 143. I thought it was so important. Same with like low end. You can't wear nice shoes at low end. You just can't. Like they're gonna get dusted. You're gonna get shit spilled on it. Like no one's coming to look at your outfit. No one cares who the fuck you are. Everyone's just here to discover new music. And, you know, I think even Cinespace was like that. Banana Split was like that. It was, and that's like sort of the path I wanted to follow. So while you're saying, you know, all those things that you say are absolutely true, but I do think there's enough of a counter movement to like balance it all out if you could find it. But LA's like that. You have to find your pocket. It's not like New York. It doesn't just present itself when you walk outside and you're just like, whoa, like everything's there and I can like go everywhere. Like LA is about pockets.
How did you like New York? You were
I
there.
liked it.
You were there in like 2011 for like what, like a year or so, or how long were you there?
For a year, yeah. I love New York. I don't know that I could ever live there again, but I thought it was really formative for me to go out there and, try to live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was actually there though for the year that I lived there. I paid rent, but I was like, I was on tour most of that year.
On tour?
Because I just started DJing full time.
Because you initially went out there for a PR job and whatnot. And I think there was notes about you being in New York and New York to me is a pretty ruthless city for DJs, more so in the late 2000s going into 2010s. It just became an impossible city to make a living in as a DJ, especially in the 2010s. So you literally went there probably, now would be the worst time to go there, obviously.
But 2010 was worse.
Was
it's a
pretty
bad time
bad.
to go out
It was like people were I think it was really bad, and it's gotten a lot worse, which is the scary shit. Even before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was bad. I'm very grateful that like you said, I moved out there to do PR, and instead of getting a PR job, I started DJing, and that's kind of where I like went full force into DJing as a living. And with New York rent plus just starting to DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much was your rent at the time?
I think I had everyone says, I had a really good deal. I had a really good deal. It was $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom.
Wow.
Off of the L at Bedford.
That's not bad.
It was like on North 7th and Driggs. I had a roommate, so our rent was like $800 a piece.
Wow.
That's not bad. That's actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
It's great until you're like, wait, I think I'll just like DJ full time. I have no full time experience, and I just moved here. So like, I think I first started DJing at Sons of Essex. Do you remember? It was on Essex. Across the street from Beauty in Essex.
What was your rates? What were your rate? What were you getting in New York?
Boy, okay, let me tell you my rate. I would play every Saturday from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., right? For $100.
What?
Get out of here.
Wait, say that one more time.
For $100.
Wow.
$100. And it was, I took the train in, right? So that's $2.25 off my $100. Then I walked from like down 3rd Avenue all the way to fucking Beauty in Essex in my heels and with the Serato and the backpack and the whoop, and then show up 10 o'clock. People are still eating, and like it's a restaurant. Right. So Sons of Essex is a restaurant with a DJ. Then it slowly turns into a club, but they don't care. It wasn't a booth. It was like a fucking pulpit, like an old pulpit that was like very hipstery. So I'd like show up there on a Saturday not knowing I could find one turntable and a Sega Genesis, and they'd be like, okay, so you got it? Like, and I'm like, I guess, like, what? So like I learned how to like really MacGyver a DJ setup together.
The worst equipment ever in New York. Like
they don't service anything. Like it was the worst. So then I would finish at 4, collect my $100, and then I have to take a cab home. It costs $12 to get home at 4. So like all in all, I probably made $5 a week.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Same, like Beauty in Essex, I would DJ 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Also. Maybe a couple $100, but you're DJing for 6 hours straight. Yeah. Like what?
Did you did that help you in any way? Those long hours?
It helped me so much. I feel like I really cut my teeth, learning the ropes in New York, because, after my stint in New York, I moved back home. I was just like, hey, like if I'm going to do this full time, I don't need to do this specifically in New York. Like I actually have a network in LA. I have my mom's house. I could really like go home, reset, figure it out on a much lower overhead. And so I go home and people are like, oh my gosh, like Sam, you lived in New York, like want to DJ our party? I'm like, yes, like am I getting booked? They're like, okay, so you want to play from like 10 to 11 for like, $300? And I'm like,
oh yeah.
I can DJ for 6 hours in front of in a church, like a rotisserie grill and like a Game Boy, and like you're telling me I could just come to your club for 45 minutes and then I could go home?
She's on a Game Boy.
Like, hello? So I was like, I was very like, after all that for a year, I felt like a queen coming home to LA. Like, you really, DJs in New York, that's a grind. That's a
Who are
and
some
you
of,
probably
go ahead. Go ahead, D.
So you probably have a perspective of things that most DJs don't, especially these days. Like those marathon sets really build you and shape you. And you're probably like one of those DJs how we are. We don't want to play the same song twice in the night. So that 6-hour set is just brutal, but then it just really builds character.
It really does. I mean, and not to sound like an old lady, like, but they don't make DJs like they used to. It was just like such a. I mean, and I came in like Serato was already happening, but it was like a lot of people still were not. This is like 2007, 8. Like a lot of DJs, especially the ones that I learned from, were not using Serato because they were purists. And so I feel really fortunate to have learned in the very original way and to have like lived through a lot of the different technological evolutions and the streaming, and my DJ bag is like this big now. But it used to be the whole kit, and I knowing that you came from there, I don't think I ever get like ungrateful for it. I think you always appreciate it.
Are you a tote bag DJ? You walk in with the tote bag? Yeah. You're one of those?
Like
Darren would get along.
Do you like that? I know, right?
He was like, yeah, tote bag game.
As soon as I could put a USB stick and like fold earphones, like I was doing it as soon as possible. Cause like I'm 5'1". I'm 5'1", and I was like mobile DJing on tour with 2 Anvil cases with turntables.
Wow.
Oh shit.
A whole laptop, like a laptop stand. I like used to tour with a fucking Vestax in my suitcase in my carry-on. Like,
damn.
Fuck? Like, best believe if I can DJ like this, I will, and I have, and I absolutely encourage it.
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted at the tote bag.
I love it.
Yeah,
you know what though? Like I can't DJ with like, there are people who DJ with the
earbuds.
Like,
in ears.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever do that. And then there's like real foul play DJs who like, they like show up with just USB stick and then they ask you to borrow their headphones.
That's
a nah.
Not after this pandemic. You can't do that.
Especially after this. Yeah.
We're not sharing anything.
Sam, were there any DJs in New York that you really loved and you listened to and you're like, holy shit, they were great?
Yeah. Let's see. When I was coming up, DJ Wonder. Excellent.
That's DJ Wonder.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great DJ.
Like, let me play on Shade 45. This is my dog. Who else? Great guy. Like he's on Twitch now, and we've been like tuning into each other's sets, and he definitely helped me get my feet wet. Who else? I think Jasmine Solano. Well, she lives in LA now, but when I was DJing a lot in New York, this is the first girl DJ that I met out there, and she was super nice. We've been friends ever since. I just played her Twitch party as well.
Right.
Get Live is so amazing.
Get Live, yeah.
Love Get Live.
I've heard a lot of great things about him. I haven't heard him yet, but I've heard a lot of great things about him. Yeah.
Is DJ Soul still?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still out there.
Yeah.
I used to go to a lot of his sets.
Yeah.
Who else?
Soul is amazing.
Yeah.
Who else is out there? Jubilee. Do you know Jubilee?
Yeah, I've met her like once or twice, but I've never heard her DJ, and I've heard so many great things about her, and she just dropped an album, Actually, you've been doing music too. You've been singing.
Yeah.
You had a couple EPs drop, and I was actually listening to them, and they're actually they're good. They're really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. I put out a couple EPs. Like back when I was in high school and like middle school, I did a lot of musical theater and dance before I ever DJ'd. And so I thought that I think I was like, oh, should I produce music? There was a point in my DJing that I was like, oh, maybe I should make my own music. Should I be a producer? And like, should I like try? And I definitely tried, but I wasn't like very passionate about making beats.
Wait, so did you make the beats for all this music that you did, or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I tried making beats. I have Ableton, and I got like folders of snares, and I just keep it all the way real. I'm not passionate about making beats the way like some of my colleagues are, and it would be a very big disservice to all of us if I was frauding as like a DJ beat maker. And but I love to sing, I love to dance, and so I was like, oh, why don't if I put out music, I would definitely like to showcase like vocals and like make music that I could dance to on stage. Like that would be more of my natural, authentic way of creating. And so that's kind of like the path that I followed. And I put out 2 EPs, toured them. That was really fun.
Was that uncomfortable to? Did you feel weird being a DJ and then dropping original music and then kind of doing that?
Yeah, I was really self-conscious for sure because I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I guess I'll just play my own song. But that's so fucking weird. I thought it was weird. So it definitely felt awkward for a while. And then slowly over time, I think I've just gotten just a little bit more comfortable in my own skin and confident with who I am and what I've created. It's not all like sort of a personal evolution, but I think it was crazy too because like I could get booked for a DJ gig, but then I was like putting out music, so I would like on the slide be like, okay, yeah, I'll come DJ this show for a 1,500 person room. But why don't I like open my DJ set with like 2 songs that I sing? And I was just like, I would just sort of like parlay DJ bookings into like singing shows. And that sort of like evolved into like, I would basically open for myself.
So you would sing before you DJ?
Yeah, your girl was doing the most. Like I had this one, I like looking back, I'm like, God, I am actually an insane person to think like this was like in any way, shape, or form normal. But like I had this one set, I was opening for The Dream in San Francisco. They booked me as a DJ, and I was like, okay, so it's like 1,500 person show. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna like come out and sing, and I'm gonna lay all my performance tracks into build this one big track, and it's 3 of my performance tracks, and then it goes straight into Waka Flocka Flame. It's a party. I just gonna bleed all into the beginning of a DJ set of a real like let's go DJ set. So I was like this 12-minute track that I like put together on Ableton. I'm like, I just came out like blah 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 and then I'm Sam, like download me on Spotify. Here's another track. Here's a song I wrote, and then it like went straight into Waka, and I was like ran
into the booth.
I go hard in the motherfucking paint.
DJ'd for an hour and 15 minutes. Like, who does that?
That's kind of smart.
I think that would be okay. I mean, it worked out fine, but like, I was very tired during those days.
Have you noticed though that a lot of younger DJs are doing what you did though? They're creating this large performance aspect of DJing. So they're DJing and then they're walking in front of on stage and then they're performing other people's songs, doing all of these dance moves and then going back and stuff, like kind of like what you were doing, but with other people's music and stuff. I actually enjoyed a lot of your songs. I really like that one song, So.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of like jazzy Faye vibes a little bit. It was really good. Are you gonna work on anything during this time or?
Well, I did hit, if I can be fully 100, I hit like a wall last year. I mean, what I just described to you, the show that I just described to you, I did that a lot. I did that a lot for like 2 years straight. And I'm not signed and I don't have a manager. And I don't have a label, I don't have a manager. So a lot of what I do everything by myself,
right.
You know? And so I definitely kind of got burnt out. And between being in the studio and like, you know, I think you need to be in a really good headspace to create. And I think with everything going on and me trying to like finance my own music videos and like all this stuff, like I burnt out really hard.
Because your music videos were really good. It looked like you put a lot of money and time into that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I like produced all of them. I like co-directed some of them. I definitely financed all of them.
There was a couple racy ones. They were like, you know, pretty. I was like, okay, she's going out there. She's going.
She might.
Yeah. She's going out there. She's showing it. She's getting her sexy on. She's getting her Riri on. She's trying to go out there.
Didn't have hoodies on it. That wasn't a hoodie.
I think I saw you perform when
headphones. That's weird. Yeah, I went to a couple creative places.
Did you perform when you did the Las Vegas pool joint? I can't recall if you performed there. No, okay.
143.
I was there.
So you did a 143 in Las Vegas, right?
We did at Park MGM.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. We got to try it. We had never done Vegas before. Never. I mean, I had been asked to play Vegas a bunch of times leading up to that day, and it's just I like doing bottle service sometimes, but for the most part, I'm more of alty, like what I just said for like the past hour and a half. I do whatever the fuck I want, and so if I don't want to play like weird EDM, then I don't want. It's okay. Like keep the bag. Like I don't want to do that. Like,
it's not your thing. Yeah.
Oh, I did hold out a bit, you know, on playing Vegas, even though there's some really nice opportunities and really, really kind offers and stuff. But I felt like this chance to, you know, now like someone wants to bring my party to Vegas after seeing the way we do it. Like that is the most ultimate compliment ever. It's like now you're not asking me to change who I am to come to Vegas. You're asking me to be who I am and go to Vegas. Yeah. And I was like, this is so fucking great. Like, really thankful. I think Roy Choi had a lot to do with that decision. And he's just been such a cheerleader and supporter of me for so long. So I feel really good about being able to go there. And I was like on a billboard. It was like very cool.
Yeah, it was dope.
And we brought our whole crew. Like we brought 20 people from LA to like help start it. But yeah, again, I mean, it was weird for us because it was our first time. We didn't know what to expect. Would I do it again? Absolutely. My parents went and my dad was so faded. And he was like dancing with the belly dancers. It was just like,
that's dope.
That's cool. It was very cool. Yeah, I'll do that again.
So for right now, we can catch you on Twitch, right? And you're on the radio as well, or?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitch. I have, as I'm learning, like best practices is to have a set schedule. Right. So that way people can really tune in and to be consistent. So like you'll see when you launch yours, it's like kind of addicting, but yeah, so I'm on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. and then Fridays at 1 p.m. And then I have an NTS radio show that's every month, so you could tune into that as well. It's called Pickles Radio. It's named after My
Your
doggy. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, just floating around the internet, doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Thursdays at 7 p.m. I'm like not DJing. I'm gonna do like, do you know like food eating videos stream?
ASMR.
It's called mukbang.
Oh yeah, mukbangs. Yeah.
Mukbang. It's like a Korean term for eating videos.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be eating on camera?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do one this week.
Wait, where? On like YouTube or something?
On Twitch.
On Twitch.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be conversating with the chat as she's eating.
Wait, is that when like there's like a ton of food in front of you and you're just stuffing the shit in your mouth? Wait, why do you have interest? Why do you have interest in this? What is this?
Well, I think food and eating food during my DJ sets like pretty.
So you're like,
and
fuck the music, fuck the DJ, just focus on the food. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it and see where it goes. Like I eat a lot on my Instagram, and I also cook a lot. So like the food lane is not too foreign to me, but I've never done like a mukbang video. So I'm gonna try it, and I think it'll be a nice. I don't know. I think it'll be a nice variation from DJ sets.
Is this like fetish? What is this? What is this from? She's gonna get a bunch of creeps, like a bunch of freaky ass motherfuckers in her.
No, this is a whole like genre of YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you see a bunch that and ASMR eating videos. I don't know why people like to watch that, but they get millions of views.
Is it for like what is it for like people who are on diets who can't eat and they gotta like watch that shit?
No, listen, I don't know. Go on YouTube and you'll see millions of views on people doing mukbangs and stuff like that.
If I'm gonna be on a platform where people like to watch other people play video games, like you're gonna watch whatever the fuck I want to do too, which is gonna be eating dinner.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna start with Jollibee, which is like the Filipino fast food. And then we're just gonna go from there. I mean, I think like I love food. I love cooking it. I love eating it. I love talking about it. So this is. I think it'll be okay, but I don't know. We'll see how creepy it gets.
Can you go?
It's great for. We're just gonna all figure it out.
For how long? Are you gonna eat for 3 hours straight or 2 hours straight, or how long you think the stream might go for?
I think I'm gonna do 1 hour. But I think I'm gonna do. Crooked looks so.
Yeah, he just doesn't know.
He's like. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do a Q&A as well, so I'll have stuff to talk about. I also like talking about food as I'm eating it, so this is also okay. But I'm thinking in the future I would like to sort of like comment on music videos, like maybe like I'm eating In-N-Out, my specific order from In-N-Out, talking about it, but then also running through all the Destiny's Child music videos and talking about that. So there's like, I don't know, we're figuring.
The wheels are turning.
I think you can learn a lot through food. You learn a lot about a person through food. And I think it'll be I'm still spinning my wheels about it, but like it'd be cool to like support the local food community in LA as well. Like
where do you stay at?
Postmates involved, and like I have a friend who does this like Williamsburg. What is it? Williamsburg like food thingy on Sundays. It's like Smorgasburg.
Oh, in
Brooklyn.
Wait, in New York?
Yeah, it's in New York.
But they have one in LA as well.
They do.
Yeah, sort of like a night market of like food vendors.
Oh, okay.
They're all, everyone's taking a hit. So I feel like that could be a nice way to like feature, not just foods I like, but foods I want to try, talk about it, and support small restaurants in LA. Am I selling you yet? Are you?
No, I'm wondering if it's. Do you have to like talk with your mouth full too? Is that like the cool thing about it?
No, it's just eating and you talking, you conversating, bro. It's not that much into it.
Maybe I'm trying to think of like
you're trying to really dissect it.
I'm trying to think what the freaky aspect of what were people trying to see, like
my god,
dripping off their mouth, like I don't know, like some crazy
like
shit.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, just like like the more grotesque it is, the more.
The way she wipes it off.
Yeah. I don't know.
I I don't particularly know what the fetish could be, but I'm sure it.
They'll figure it
Oh,
out.
you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. Real quick, you're gonna find out.
And I will absolutely report that as my findings. But like, trust me, like, you're definitely not the only person who's like
Weirded
very
out.
confused by this. Like, my boyfriend is like,
Nah, do it. Do it.
like,
Yeah.
really? I'm like, yeah, I just went to have dinner on Twitch. And he's like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of fucking weird people. Like, we're going to find them all. Like,
Can you go get Leo's Tacos for me and eat that? Because I miss Leo's Tacos, man.
So you're in New York or Vegas?
I'm in Vegas, but I'm from Silver Lake.
You out there?
2 years ago.
Oh, so yeah, Leo's is really close to my apartment.
I go to the one in Echo Park or the one on Western and Sunset. So yeah, just get some Leo's Tacos for me, and then
You have a new subscriber here.
I know, right?
I'm a tune in. I'll moderate the chat feed.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need some mods. Okay, so you guys' Twitch launches soon.
Monday, May 25th.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that you have everything already for it. Like, I've just been like researching green screens and like.
Oh, this was the biggest pain in the ass. I think setting up. I think for a lot of DJs, setting up the Twitch, the hardware, learning the OBS software, learning all of this shit has been quite an obstacle. A lot of DJs are like going fucking nuts doing it, but then there's some DJs like Wonder, Shortcuts who are just excelling at that shit. They're just doing amazing shit. Yeah.
Zach is like killing it.
Yeah, Four Color Zach's doing great. Yeah.
How do you know everything? So I've just been like, just like scoping everyone's setup. But yeah, five tagged me in something, a Zoom call that he was on with like Vice and like 4 other people. DJ like, okay, so I think on Twitch there's this thing called a raid, and then I don't know, Sam just showed up and this other DJ she raided 4 Color Zach, and like Vice was like, "What's a raid, bro?" Like just like all talking about it. Like, dude, I'm same. Like, we're all having these conversations, and I think it'll be. It's
kind of interesting because it reminds me of like when Serato was first coming out. We're like, oh yeah, like you don't do relative mode. You're like, you're an absolute. You're a fucking you're trash, bro. Like,
so fun. And then like, you remember when the Dicers came out?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, do you have the Dicers though?
I have the Dicers. The little corner.
Yeah.
Were you a Dicer girl? Did you set that shit up? Huh?
Yeah, I have. Okay, so for the past week I've been setting this up, and I have this box of like 87 RCA cables and like random cables, right? So I like plugging everything in. I'm like, oh, XLR and this and that. And then at the bottom of this box of cables is like my Dicers. I'm like looking at my Twitch setup like, how could I use these Dicers in 2020? Yeah, I had Dicers. I didn't really use them though. Like, I thought they looked cool, but I didn't really.
I just hated the openers who had Dicers because they would have to unhook that shit, and I'd be standing there like, "Are you done? Like, did you really?"
I was one of those openers.
Yeah,
bro.
did you really need to hook this shit up? Did you really need to hook this shit up? Did you really need?
It's a light flex.
For your opening set?
Yeah, for your opening set. You needed cue points right next to the fucking to the vinyl. You just needed that shit. Couldn't reach over to your laptop, right? Hated that
That's
shit.
hella funny. Yeah, DJing's fun. Do you guys all play on Serato or like USB sticks?
A lot of
Serato.
Yeah, we're all on
Serato.
Yeah. A lot of people have been switching over to Record Box.
Yeah.
Like my boy Rocktacon switch over to Record Box.
He did?
Yeah. And I'm like, why? He's like, dude, it's just so much better. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna get involved.
This is also on that shit too.
Yeah. This is
doing Record Box. Yeah.
He's on Record Box now?
He's been trying to convince me that he can do a whole night on flash drives. On sticks. And I think he's
whole night, like 10 to 4.
Yeah, like he's been telling me he can do it, but I think he's full of shit. I don't think he can. Because every time I see him DJ, he has his fucking laptop with him. So
switching over is really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it took me a full year to like switch.
Oh, so you're on sticks?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've been on USB sticks for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that through Record Box or is it just
The Record Box? Yeah.
Wow.
I think when I started touring a lot is when you just show up at fucking in a Swedish basement, and then you're like, wait, what is this? Is this a turntable? Like, I don't know. And, like, it just got really nutty. Like, for me, like touring with Serato, because you just don't know what you're walking into most of the time.
Yeah.
And then clubs, especially in Europe, they don't service turntables anymore. So I just was like, okay, I'm gonna try to like. I think my last laptop crashed, and I was like, this is a sign. Like, I gotta like figure this out because I can't be bringing a laptop to the club anymore. But it took a long time. I have to say.
What are the benefits of Record Box to you?
To me, I mean, definitely.
As opposed to using Serato, you know what I mean?
I always felt really anxious bringing a lot of things with me to the function. So, like, when you really zoom out, like, you are bringing upwards of like $3,000 worth of like gear to a drunken, like, dark place late at night, which is just like, after a while, you're like, wait, could I not have to do this? Like, so like, when you lose your needles, that's like a huge like headache. And then when you lose your charger, and then half the shit doesn't work the right way, and it takes like 5 minutes to transition, and half the time it just doesn't work right for some reason. And then I was playing internal most of the time, and I think also so that was one reason, but the other reason too was as I was starting to play like 143, or I was like touring a lot with Selection, and those were a lot of my work moved away from open format and long sets where I need all of Wu-Tang's discography or what have you, or like the Star Wars soundtrack, whatever the fuck you're carrying around. You're carrying around terabytes of music that you don't actually need. So like I was just like, oh, I'm finding that I'm either only playing R&B, I'm playing 1 hour sets that are like shows and not like catering to the crowd necessarily. Like, they're here to see what I have to play, and I don't have to play. Can you play Back That Ass Up? It's my friend's birthday. Like, can you play Katy Perry? Like, I didn't have to do that. So like anymore. So I didn't think it was necessary to like carry all that stuff. I wasn't getting a ton of requests,
right?
And or playing. I still play. I'll use Serato if I do DJ a wedding or private party, because you want to make sure like you have what the aunties need, and you have what the kids want, and you need all of it. But I think the majority of my work just started moving into the direction of like 1 hour. I know exactly what I'm playing. I'm here to play R&B, right. And because it became so niche, I felt like I could move over to USB sticks.
I mean, you
need like 2,000 songs instead of like 20,000.
So you were basically like a working DJ transitioning to like a showcase DJ, right? Where you just had like, and that that makes sense. I mean, that does make sense nowadays. I mean, I've been thinking that way, and for the first time approaching sets that way when I started live streaming, just because I had to have a plan when I went up there. I didn't just want to go there and do a bunch of club mixes or just kind of go through all of my like club routines. I was like, I want to play specifically this, and I can understand just bringing sticks and being like, this is what I want to play, putting your set together for an hour and a half, and then just walking up with those joints. Yeah,
but I mean, it's such a different mental approach than I loved working off of my history, my Serato history.
Yeah,
I loved being able to type. You can't type on Record Box. You can't just walk up and be like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna vibe off of the history I played, whatever, on Wednesday, and then that one do-over, and then that other way. I'm just gonna go back and forth between these playlists and these histories. and then that you get that spur of the moment, like, oh, what if I drop the Beach Boys, or I don't know, whatever, or the Beastie Boys, or I don't know, whatever you want to play, like that is like very left field, that could like make the crowd turn their head.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really do those spur of the moment type things, but I think set by set by set by set, you do end up with the music that you actually need on your USB stick.
Did you have an issue with, like, because I know for me, I'm a very visual person, so looking at my laptop just gives me something to do while I'm on stage, and then you realize you don't have that element, so you're more kind of like conscious of what you're doing on stage, maybe? Come
on, she's a dancer, bro. What are you talking about, man?
I've never had a problem with like finding things to do while DJing. Like,
she's fucking doing
she's
this
eating,
while
she's eating, dancing, singing.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of things.
She's been doing this the whole interview, just like
she get the move.
But also, I would say like I didn't like visually how it looks when you have Serato face. Like I was a very big like I had Serato face in all of my photos. Visually.
Just like that stare.
Yeah. Looking at like am I checking my Facebook? I don't know. Like it actually feels better to be more active instead of like zoning in on something. I don't know. Like, but it definitely took a minute because you have to pre-plan it.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Well, I might consider, but probably not.
I think if you do consider it, this would be a great time to try it.
Right.
And I tell people because I'm a big record box advocate, I would say. Mm-hmm. I just say start with 1 hour set or a half hour set. Put together a half hour set and then just go from there. Put together another half hour set. And the more because you have to process everything through record box, add cue points the same way you have built your Serato library with cue points for years, right? So there is that aspect of all right, I gotta go back in and adjust the grid and add a cue point here and here and here. But if you do it a little bit over time, you'll end up with the right library that I'm sure Dizza has now, and he can do a full night on USB sticks. He's lying though. He's lying. Have you?
He's faking the funk.
Have you checked out the new DJ City? They teamed up with Beatport, and they came up with they have a new streaming service for record box, and I think Serato might be coming, but it's
really?
It's called Beat Source.
Beat Source.
Beat Source, and it's literally you're streaming music directly into your record box.
Really?
And it's just like streaming where you can download certain songs into your laptop or wherever you want, or you can have it separate, but it's basically you're not housing any tracks at all. And you can just sign, and here's the beauty is that you can sign in and literally sign into anyone's record box and all your shit will show up.
Yeah, it's all on a cloud.
It's all in a Beat Source cloud.
Yeah.
That's sick. Wait, I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off.
If you want, after I'll do an introduction email and I'll have them show you a quick tutorial if you want. They'll do that for you. Yeah, I'll hook it up. We saw it, and we saw it in record box, and I was blown away. I was like, this is the future. Where I can literally, it's going to eliminate the laptop, and I think they're going to probably find some way to incorporate this into the mixer or something.
Yeah.
And we're literally just going to come in, log into our BeatSource account, have all our stuff, and the next DJ can just log into their account and just stream through Wi-Fi. And they have all of this music that we can't find, all of the Whitney Houston library, all of the Stevie Wonder library, everything is legal, and they're working with the record labels to do it. And soon, hopefully, they're going to be creating extended intros for all of these songs, and it's going to be legal.
Right.
It's not going to be YouTube rips that are.
Oh no, it's going to be
it's official.
It's going to be straight up official
It's
with the
legit.
label. The labels are going to be involved.
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll do an introduction email, and I'll have you link up with them.
That sounds definitely like the future.
Yeah, for sure.
We're here for the future.
Sam, I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. And it was a blast. I'm really happy we got to found out more about you and 143 and everything, and we're gonna look forward to seeing you on Twitch too.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
DJing and eating.
and dancing.
And dancing.
From time
That's
to
it.
time.
And maybe singing.
You never know what you get at Twitch.
I really don't. I told everyone I'm gonna do whatever I want.
She is the most animated guest we've ever had.
Yeah, right?
Ever.
She's all right.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed talking with you guys.
Nah.
I will see you on Twitch.
There we go.
Definitely.
Jamie, you want to take us out?
Hey.
If you want to watch this video alongside all our brand new videos that we release every Friday on YouTube, please subscribe to youtube.com/R.O.A.D podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be the first to get the video. And
a big shout out to DJ City, man. We're out.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.